My name is Griffin. I'm well, I do thatching, as you can see, and I'd like to show how thatching is done today in 2018. Most thatching was done in the old days. Everybody heard of spars. People made spars out of hazel tree and bent them around in little staples to hold the thatch down. And they used a sod, like the green sod from any old field. They'd cut it with a spade and make a roll, and they'd put it up on the ridge. Well, of course, you were putting in like something that would rot anyway, so most of the early thatches, they used to depend on thatching them every at least 4 years. But the new now of thatch, we expect to get about 8 to 10 years out of a good thatch. So things have moved on, and ever since they've done the thatch in Holy Cross, County Tipperary, the first time they done a one for, like, say, for Board Falls or tourists. They built a group of houses there, and I've seen the early ones. They used bag ties, they were called. At that time there was potato bags, and they were tying them with tying wire. And there was today now, even things have moved on that quick. You can't get bag ties anymore in shops. Modern spar, and I'll show you how to make it. It's like the bag tie, but we can't get bag ties anymore, so we've got to make bag ties. So we make them the length we want, and just put a little loop and turn it with a long nose pliers. Ideally you can cut it and you can make the loop, and this is the loop. See, you just squeeze it, and you've got the 2 little rings, and for this we've got the bag tie. You can't even buy it. If you went into a hardware shop with them now, you'd have a hard job to get one. Like everything for thatching, you have to make it yourself. It's a pure craft, so you make everything yourself. That's the bag tie, and you put it in like so, and underneath a piece of wood that you'd have like a slate lat, and then you'd have a 5 or 6 sheaves, and you'd through the way with the slate lat, and then you pull, and you can imagine to tie. If we come here on the thing, I can show you ties that are already tied up. You see this here? That's already tied. So you'd pull like that, and you see the way it moved down a little bit, and then tuck it away like that under the side. And there's the other one there, tied down. Another one there, and these are little pieces there. They are just for show, like they always had. Now, the trouble about reed is it don't turn like some old green corn or wheat and straw. If you had a green, you could turn it over the ridge. But new ridges are straight. There's a modern new. There's always a new idea. If you look, so this is the new idea of that. This is an ordinary hedge clippers that you can buy. You know, you can buy these anywhere, any store. So I'll see if it obliges now and start for me. As you can see, that will work exactly as it's supposed to. The rain hits the top one and then goes from tip to tip and onto the main thatch, the ridge you could call this, and then that throws it off out onto the ground. That's the way thatch works. and that's the way thatch worked right from the beginning. And this is typical of an Irish cottage, and this is my 5th time doing it. And at 73 it'll probably be my last time. But this thatch has been around since the Vikings would have brought it. And seeing that my name is Griffin, I'm a descendant of Vikings. All Griffins in Ireland, and we're all over the place. We're in every hurl and football teams for different counties. We're in Clare, we're all over Kerry, and we're in Cork in a big way. The Griffins are Cork City, they were mostly shoemakers, the same as I was, even though I was up in Tipperary, my ancestors were all shoemakers. So the skill was there all the time with the Griffins. And I'd like to show a bit of the thatch now, from the front and from the side. Okay. Now, take a piece of there now. I tried to get a little bit of old Viking look. You see the wood, that was my own design out of my own head, but from looking at old Viking stuff. And then if you scan along the main house, I would say myself that has a Viking longhouse look, like with that, and it's very similar to the Viking ship, the way they came up on both ends. Now come this way. Scan a bit of this here so you can see where my thatch would be. And this is a village in Lower Cross, Rylane, and as you can see, the ridge here up at the top, the barges, if you like, are the trickiest bit of thatch. And get the date up there on the top. This house was first built in 1798. This house was about 60 years old when the famine was in Ireland. So this house stood here, and it used to be the old schoolmistress's house up here in Rylane. That was from the last century, but there's several centuries that I couldn't take you back. I'll go through. Now, this is where some of my skills came from. I was a plasterer and worked in 10 Downing Street at one stage when I was an apprentice, way back in the 1963. And this is a Georgian Victorian lamppost. And I used to I moulded that, I made the mould and casted that out of it. So that's the skill base that I came from. That with plastering and thinking all the time. And thatching is similar to that. You have here. So here. So just scan there. Come here. Scan the top. That's my gym. And a lot of my ornaments that I cast. You can see them there. Look at that. I think that's beautiful. Okay. Now this is Shannon reed. This comes from the River Shannon. It's still some of the best reed in Ireland. If there's too much, if there's too much of what you call nitrogen put into it, it'll make it grow too big, and it'll be no good. It'll be brittle. So a lot of rivers in Ireland were ruined with nitrogen, you know, the intensive farming. Now, the men that bring that to me, sometimes they're Clare men, sometimes they're Limerick men. This year, it was a man, Vincent Kelly, brought it to me, a well-known reed cutter up there, and they're getting scarce now. They're a bit like myself. They're at the age, like nearly my age. A lot of them have, and now I want to show how I cut up a reed when I'm using reed. Everything here, like I said, even the tools I use are stuff that I just happened upon. Like I had a circular saw, so a circular saw is ideal for cutting that, because if you cut that with a handsaw you'd rag it to bits. But here I'll just turn on this and I'll show how to cut up a sheath. And that's just taking the sharp top off. And here I'll cut it again just to yeah, okay. And knock it off. Now, there's the sheath, and you should always use it, the thin end going in first. It works like a wedge, it holds itself in place. So I want to demonstrate how I'll tighten up patch afterwards, once I'll be just finished my job off. And the eye is everything in touch. You look along and your eye tells you where there's a dip. And wherever there's a dip, you put in a bunch of reed. Like that. And here you can see the way I'm working the bundle. For the wants out, and you'd fill in the wants, and this is the same kind of method, but there is no thatching schools, so there's nobody to show. But that's called a legget, it's called, and it's, if you can picture that, that's the slope of a roof. That's roughly about 65 degrees of an angle, so it's ideal when you bat. So when you're batting roof, this is different down here because I'm just batting straight to get to it. But if I was going up the roof, I'd be going like that, and I'd be putting the bend on it as I'm going. And people ask a question, how much do you get from a sheath? And how much you get from the actual sheath is the bottom of the sheath. That's how much thatch you get. So you get roughly about a square foot out of a good bundle. You use your eye and you look and you see, and then what? That's the way you do thatch. But I wish I had more professional camera person, and then we would have made a beautiful job of this. Okay, thank you, bye now.